Hello everyone, it's Janine here at my studio space with my assistant's dog Pugsley here next to me. So today I thought we'd have a go at doing some art on some canvas paper. I'm just trying to show you the texture on it here. It has a little bit of texture in it. I hope you could see that there. And so to start with, we're going to be using some acrylic paints to create our first layer. And the canvas paper, you know, you can pick that up in the Works do it here in the UK, I think, and probably a number of other art shops do it. It normally comes in like a spiral bound pad, and you can just cut it out from there. But if you don't have that, you know, some card will work for this project as well. So as you could see, I squeezed my paint straight out onto the canvas, and I'm just painting it on quite sort of freely and just sort of going with it and letting the colours mix and seeing what happens. I hope you're enjoying this video. Please do give it a like and subscribe to my channel. I really appreciate it. In order to do this successfully and not end up mixing together mud, I've gone with colours that I know that will mix together. So we've got some greens and yellows and blues. So green and yellow will mix together, sorry, blue and yellow will mix together to make green. And so I know all those colours will mix together harmoniously and will work well without creating mud. So in this video here you can see I'm starting by creating this abstract piece, but later on I'll show you how we can then go on ahead and use the abstract piece to create different things such as greetings cards, an ATC card and some tags. Now I've let that layer of acrylic paint thoroughly dry, and now I'm kind of breaking the art rules. Sometimes art rules are there to be broken, but it is good to know how your different materials work. So here I'm using the Graphitint by Derwent. Basically it's a watercolour, but they're nice muted colours. They have graphite in them, which has given it muted colours. And normally you would not go over acrylics with watercolour because the watercolour will resist the acrylic. But I decided that I just wanted to have a bit of fun and just dull back the acrylics in some places with this muted palette of the Graphitints, and I quite like where it's kind of resisting the acrylic in places. And when I was doing my acrylic layer, some of it was almost kind of dry brush, so I didn't have very much paint on the brush. I don't know whether you can see that from the video because it looks like I have quite a lot of paint on the canvas, but parts of it you could still see some white through. So some of how I'm using the Graphitint is to fill in the little white flecks that you can see. This is an optional part of the process. You'll see as we go on that I'm going to carry on and add more layers. So if you don't have the Graphitints, or you could also use watercolour, but if you don't have watercolour, you just don't like this step, you know, feel free to skip it out. And so this is my Graphitint layer. You can see the Graphitint watercolour paints over the top there. And now I'm going in to do another layer once I'd let the Graphitint dry. I was aware that because it was watercolour, I could now reactivate that layer by adding acrylic paint over the top, but I wasn't too worried about that, and actually I didn't notice any reactivation. But you may want to be careful of that because, as I say, art rules are there to be broken, but it is good to know how your different materials work, and watercolours will reactivate. So I've used the zinc white acrylic paint to knock the bright colours back again. Zinc white is a see-through white, so I quite like to use this so I can still see the colours through, but it just knocks them back a bit. But you could always use a normal white acrylic paint, just apply it thinly. Now while the white paint is still wet, I'm scratching through with some different tools. I've got a stick here, and I've also been using some silicone tip tools. But as always, use what you have. End of a pencil or end of a paintbrush will work. It's just a nice way to add some more like texture and to be able to see some of the bright colours coming back through. I used quite sort of abstract and scratchy kind of marks just to create some texture. Now I'm using a guillotine to cut the sheet up into smaller sections. I'm like looking at the textures and colours and what I've created to try and pick out different bits that I like. You could do this with any kind of, maybe some work that you've done in the past that maybe you don't really like and you want to give it a new lease of life. It can be interesting to cut things up and sort of cut them into different sections and see different things in them that you may not have seen when it was a bigger piece. I always try and encourage people not to throw their artwork away, because often if they look at it a couple of weeks later they may have decided they like it, or you could do something like this and give it a new lease of life. Here are the cut up pieces. So as you can see, it brings like a new lease of life to the work, and you can see it in quite a different way than you might have seen it before. And now I'm cutting it to make some like tags. These could be gift tags, or maybe a tag for some art journaling. I have some nice bamboo thread here that I'm putting onto my tag, and now I'm just going in with some Posca pen to add some subtle details. If you don't have Posca pens, you know, as always, use what you have. You don't have to use Posca pen. You don't even have to go in and add more detail. I do a couple more tags which I don't add any detail onto, but I just thought with this one I would add some little kind of leaf detail, just quite subtly there, sort of tone on tone really, isn't it? And now I'm going in and creating another couple of gift tags. Now I'm a bit kind of hit and miss when it comes to kind of measuring and that kind of thing, getting things in the middle. I'm not really very good at that. So as you can see here, I cut it off and started again because I wasn't very happy with how it went. So yeah, but as I see it, art is for having fun, and don't worry if you don't get it exactly right. It doesn't really matter. And here are the finished tags. And now I'm going on to create some greetings cards. I'm just cutting the sections up a little bit more to fit in with how I want to create the card, and I'm just kind of fiddling around to see, like, composition wise, how things look good, and then I'm going in to stick it down. You don't be afraid to kind of move all the shapes around, turn them upside down, different ways around, until you're kind of happy with the composition. I'm even using the little triangles, the wastage from the tags. You know, this doesn't need to be a wasteful project. You can use up all your little bits of scraps and create some nice greetings cards from it. If greetings cards aren't your thing, you know, you could make a nice piece of art out of these. As I say, it's really interesting when you cut things up and move them around and play with composition. You could do the same thing that I'm doing on the cards, but do it like as an art piece, and you could frame it if you wanted to, or you could do this in your art journals. If you're into art journaling, this would be a nice thing to do on an art journal page. So as you can see, I'm trying all sorts of different compositional ways to put these down. I hope this gives you some different ideas, even if you're not making greetings cards. I hope that you can apply this to your own work in some kind of form. I'm using Yoo-Hoo glue, but feel free to use whatever glue that you have. I'm not 100% sure if Pretty Stick would stick to the canvas, but if you're using card, then Pretty Stick would be fine, and you could always give it a go on the canvas. It may work fine. I've just never used it myself before to know definitely. It's just Yoo-Hoo is my glue of choice, but as always, you know, use what you have. And here are the finished cards. Now I have a wooden ATC here that I'm using to create a little piece of artwork now out of the pieces. An ATC stands for an artist trading card. Basically it's like a little business card size thing, just to create a nice small little piece of artwork basically, but I happen to have some MDF ones. You could just cut out into small business card size, or you could stick it onto some wood, or you know, the possibilities are endless. But as I have these wooden ATC cards, this is what I'm doing here. I hope this is helping you to feel creatively inspired and you're able to spend some time this week out of your normal daily routine to do something creative, and I hope that helps you to relax. Art can be great for our mental well-being. Now I've stuck the canvas on both sides of my wooden ATC card. I'm now using fine Posca pens to add in some details. Feel free to add in whatever you like, just use this as some inspiration. I think whatever your background is like will kind of help you decide and get kind of the ideas flowing as to what you might like to do on top. You may decide you don't even want to add any details. I'm using Posca pens, but you can use whatever you like. And I think, as I was saying, like about sort of looking at the background and that kind of helping you with your inspiration, we were kind of talking about that in last week's video about kind of getting away from the white paper. So, you know, this could be a white blank ATC card, but having that background on it just helps to get away from that white paper like we were talking about. I'll try and remember to link that video. And here are the finished pieces. I couldn't quite fit in one of the cards, but here's most of the finished pieces that we did. It's amazing what you can get out of one piece of A4 canvas and what you can then go on to create with. I hope you've enjoyed this video. Until next time, bye for now.